so now we're gonna try our first full song. We've been doing exercises right now, learning the pitches open D string, open A, G, F sharp, and E, respectively, of course, based on what instrument you're playing and the fingerings for those. So now we're gonna combine all those pitches together and play an actual piece. Now it's a very short excerpt of the full piece. It's an American folk song, 1.15, Don't Tell Aunt Rhody. Now before we begin, of course, we want to identify a few things. Time signature, make sure it's the right clef that you're reading in. And how many measures? What's the rhythm? How many rests are there in each measure? What ending do we have? Is there a repeat sign or a final bar line? So those are some things to identify first before we actually begin. Now that you've identified those parts, let's go ahead and review the pitches. We have F sharp, E, D, and G. Not in that order, of course, but you are playing in some sort of order and some sort of rhythm. Let's first just kind of sing the note names. So we're going to do that singing thing I taught you in the last video and see if that will help us identify the pitches and the rhythm at the same time, because you're singing it like it's supposed to be played. All right, so before we begin, let's try and look at it one bit at a time, or one measure at a time, by identifying the fingerings and the notes for each measure. So we're going to start measure 1 in this exercise, or Don't Tell Aunt Rhody. And what pitches do we have? Should have F sharp, a quarter rest, F sharp, and it's still an F sharp because there's no accidental on it, but earlier there was an F sharp in the same measure that happened, and so that continues to stay F sharp. And then finally we have E. How do you finger F sharp on the instrument? For cello, it's going to be 3 fingers on the D string. Finger 1 on the first tape, second finger between, and third finger on the second tape. That's F sharp. How do you finger E? Well, we did this earlier. First finger on the D string. All right, so let's go ahead and just sing the note names and finger along. Or we can pluck as well, it's up to you. I'm gonna pluck to start with, get my first pitch. F sharp, good. Let's try singing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, F sharp, E. And that's it. Let's try singing it while we play it. Sing and play. 1, 2, 3, 4. F sharp, rest. F sharp, E. And if you did that a few times, let's go ahead and play measure 2, okay? Or go ahead and sing along measure 2. What are the pitches? Well, we should get down to an open D string, okay? Now, we know it's an open D string, not because of course, just where the note head is placed, but you also know that you're not using any fingers because the number above it is a 0. That means no fingers, right? All right, so the melody is going from a higher pitch, F sharp, all the way down to an open pitch. The string is getting longer because we're pinching away from the instrument rather than adding fingers. And you'll hear the pitch get lower, right? So in this rhythm, however, we have a quarter note D, a rest right after, another quarter note D, and then another rest. Let's try singing just measure 2, right? Sing and pluck. Ready? Any and go. D, rest. D, rest. Super easy. Now let's try to combine measures 1 and 2 by singing. All right, we're gonna sing and pluck and finger along. Well, of course we're gonna finger along. Ready? Starting on F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4. F sharp, rest. F sharp, E, D, rest. D, rest. All right, if you got that a couple of times, let's move on to measure 3. And of course, you heard the melody go down. La, 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 okay? Moving on to measure 3. The first pitch is E. That's your first finger on the D string. Then you have a quarter rest. The next pitch is F sharp. 3 fingers on the D string. And then you get to our higher pitch, which is G. And that is 4 fingers on the D string. All right? That's all 3 tapes right here. Let's try and singer measure 3. Starting on E. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, rest. F sharp, G. Now the melody goes up because we're shortening the string and the pitch is getting higher because of it. All right. Now let's try measure 4. How do you think the melody is going to go? Is the pitch going to get higher, or is it going to go back down, or stay the same from the last note of measure 3? Well, the pitches are F sharp, 3 fingers on the D string, E, 1 finger on the D string, and then finally open D, and then a quarter rest. So let's try measure 4 to see if your theory is correct, if you have it going up or down. Singer, 2, 3, 4. F sharp, E, D, rest. So the pitch went down because you made the string longer by releasing the little spots where you pinched at. So now let's try measures 3 and 4 only. Ready? Starting on E. Get your hands ready. 1, 2, singer and play. E, rest. F sharp, G, F sharp, E, D, rest. All right, now let's try it with the metronome and play it without singing it. One, 2, 3, 4.